Texas takes matters into their own hands and takes major action against Hillary. Finally, Texas is almost a country unto itself. They are independent on pretty much all issues and do not tend to go the way of the liberal coastal states. One area that shows that propensity is education. And right now, Texas is proposing something very controversial. I saw a piece of news this weekend and at first, I laughed about it. After consideration, I am not laughing anymore. Texas is taking things into their own hands and proposing a huge change to their textbook curriculum. They want to remove Hillary Clinton from their texts. She will simply hate that. The Texas State Board of Education took a preliminary vote on Friday to remove former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton from social studies books in an effort to streamline the curriculum. They also want to remove Barry Goldwater, who many see as the father of conservatism, and Helen Keller. Texas just had a big blow-up concerning the teaching of the Alamo's history, and thankfully that recounting of events would not change for students. Two of the teachers involved in making the recommendations regarding what should be cut from the curriculum told the Dallas News that students are required to learn about so many historical figures that it prevents real learning from taking place. The group tasked with making the recommendations came up with criteria to rank historical figures so that students would only have to focus on the essential ones. The Dallas News reports that the criteria asked questions like, did the person trigger a watershed change, was the person from an underrepresented group, and will their impact stand the test of time? Clinton only garnered 5 points while Keller earned 7 points. Is not this a subjective way to determine who is essential and who is not in history? As far as real learning goes, that does not happen right now. My children learned far more about American history when I homeschooled them. We are not paying teachers to make things easier for themselves, we are paying them to adequately teach our children. Hillary Clinton probably only gets a passing mention in history textbooks as Bill Clinton's First Lady. But as Secretary of State under President Barack Obama, she certainly should be focused on as a cautionary tale of how not to fill that role. I give you Benghazi and Libya in general. Then she was the first female presidential nominee from a major political party, and history should also cover her scandals. Let's not edit history, let's teach the good, the bad and the ugly. However, lesson plans that focused specifically on Clinton and her role as a significant political and social leader are set to be removed, eliminating some 30 minutes of classroom time. I tend to agree with that part. She was no leader, but she should still be in the history books. Removing specific figures from the education curriculum does not mean that they are prohibited from being taught, just that it is no longer mandatory to include them in teaching material. That all but guarantees they will disappear into obscurity. The Dallas Morning News reported that the decision, which will come to a final vote in November, comes as the result of a ranking exercise completed by 15 members of the state board. A number of historical figures including Clinton, Helen Keller, Sam Houston, Thurgood Marshall, and Sandra. Board members went through a series of questions to rank each historical figure. Clinton was selected for removal after receiving just 5 points, and Helen Keller, who received a score of 7, was also marked for removal from the curriculum. A committee also recommended removing the late evangelist Billy Graham, but another committee, with direction from the board in June, reinstated the reference. Graham scored a 4 on their scale. Even Sandra Day O'Connor should not be dropped. Why the sudden cleansing of social studies? Yes, I know there are time limits, but there are many grades where this could be fitted in, or it could be placed in extra credit studies of some sort. Heck, drop some of world history and add more American history, especially on the Constitution and Founding Fathers. Many schools no longer teach that at all. Many Americans do not even realize that our founding is now in many curriculums no longer required as a subject and has not been for many years. The older I get, the more important history seems to me. Our children will never learn what to avoid if they do not learn from our previous mistakes and successes. A decision will not be finalized until November, but I would hope that Texas will choose not to selectively drop pieces of history in the name of classroom expediency. Yes, put Clinton in the proper context. Teach children what she was really all about. Do not whitewash Clinton's tainted record by dropping it to hide what kind of person she was. And do not go down the rabbit hole of historical censorship.